Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. In 1995, a spectacular UFO sighting occurred over the city of Bariloche in Argentina. There was an enormous luminous object in the sky and then an abrupt and unexplained power outage. There were hundreds of frightened eyewitnesses on the ground. But more frightening still were the passengers and crew of an Argentine Airlines jet who saw the UFO head-on from their vantage point at 15,000 feet. July 31st, Aerolíneas Argentina's Flight 674 is cleared to land at Bariloche Airport. It's a quiet night, just two planes on radar, Flight 674 and a distant military jet. But then, suddenly, a third craft appears, a UFO so disturbing that it has changed the course of this pilot's life, as he tells Sightings in his first interview outside Argentina.
Y nuestra preocupación.
Our worries began when we saw the light. We consulted with the tower, and they said they didn't know of any other craft in the area.
The tower questioned whether Polanco might be seeing the military aircraft, but Polanco insisted that there was a third craft bearing down on his jet.
We asked the tower again, and they said they could see our lights, that there was no craft near ours. And they confirmed that there was the military craft in its position.
Nosotros estábamos aproximando.
We were approaching the airport at Bariloche.
Argentine Air Force Commandant Ruben Sapusak was the other identified pilot in the air that night.
A 38 millas.
At 38 miles outside of the airport, I set my radio to the same frequency as the control tower. We could hear the communication between the control tower and the pilot of an Aerolíneas Argentinas aircraft, who was asking the controller if there was any other flight in this area. The controller answered that there was no other craft around.
La primera impresión es de un choqueo.
The first impression was shock from the people inside the plane. The lights of the object were well defined. There was an orange light on top of it, green lights on the side, and the solid part of the object was dark.
Horrified passengers stared out the window and watched as the UFO flew dangerously close to the port wing.
I was looking through the window, and I saw blue lights and orange lights passing very quickly through, very close to the plane.
Nuevamente, le dice.
We heard the AA pilot saying that there was something flying parallel to them. The controller said it couldn't be. They couldn't see anything. The control tower then called us to ask if we didn't see anything. We were 6,000 feet above the AA flight and paying attention to its communication. We told the controller that we couldn't see anything. Just after that, we heard the AA pilot say that the lights at the airport had gone out.
There was a general power cut throughout the city, which made us use the emergency services at the airport. I told the control tower that we couldn't generate electricity anymore and that they should tell the plane to start an escape maneuver because we couldn't keep even the emergency lights on properly.
The blackout forced Polanco to abort his landing. He was ordered to circle until power could be restored. As the streets were enveloped in darkness, the brightest source of light in the city was the UFO.
That night, we had a big blackout. My husband and I went out to buy cigarettes. When we went out, we saw that it was all dark. There wasn't anyone outside, not even cars on the streets.
Maria and Silverio Cabral were among the hundreds of Bariloche residents who reported seeing the UFO.
I was driving the car when my husband said with panic that there was something standing still above us. I was pretty amazed to stare at something that wasn't normal. The lights were amber and orange, and they were about 3,000 meters high.
The light was really powerful. When we decided to get out of the car, the light suddenly disappeared going east. That means it went toward the airport. It went so quickly that it was impossible to follow with our eyes. We were about to enter the airspace when we again heard the Aerolíneas Argentinas pilot asking for confirmation of the existence of another aircraft in the area. The control tower denied it again. The controller said that the only aircraft close to him was mine. Then we saw a small light 5,000 feet below our aircraft. It was an amber and clear light blinking, which went by us at a speed of about 600 or 800 miles per hour. This light flew horizontally, then suddenly it turned vertically, and suddenly it was up above us. We raised our eyes up to the window to see the light going up higher.
Le pido que le comunique a la torre.
The control tower didn't confirm it, but the military confirmed that he could see the light as he saw our plane from a different position. The lights at the runways on the airport were gone. We started our escape maneuver, and I noticed that the crew started getting nervous.
People were very nervous. They didn't know what was happening, so everyone chatted inside and talked, and they were asking, wondering what was happening, that we couldn't land.
Solamente una maniobra de escape.
We said we were making an escape maneuver because there was no electricity at the airport.
Pero en ningún momento nosotros comunicamos que habíamos.
While we went up, the object to our right went up, forward toward the lake, and went up at a 90-degree angle at incredible speed, and waited for our turn at the lake.
No vimos.
All of a sudden, we saw nothing else. So we started looking toward our horizon, and we saw the light just in front of us, standing still about 29 miles from us.
Polanco thought the UFO was moving away, but suddenly, there it was again, directly in front of him.
When we turned over the lake toward the airport, we saw the UFO again, waiting for us on our trajectory. Once we finished our turn toward the airport, the UFO disappeared below us.
As soon as the UFO disappeared, the lights came back on. Polanco landed and immediately filed an official report. Fear turned to frustration when the pilot tried to follow up with airport investigators.
We were approached by the airport director, who asked me for the report of what had happened. He had to take it to the authorities. We gave this report to the airport authorities, but so far, I haven't received an answer about it.
With the civil investigation going nowhere, Polanco turned to the military.
An official investigation was denied by the Air Force. But after 2 months, I was approached by a Defense Ministry Department official. He wrote a report, but I haven't received a copy.
Fellow pilots warned him to let the incident drop. But Polanco believes that finding the truth is more important than just one man's career.
Decidimos no callarnos.
I decided not to keep quiet about it. So I decided to let the public know what happened that night.
I would like to know what it was, since the light was flying in a very strange way. It didn't fly like a normal plane.
I started to ask myself questions, but there are questions for which one has no answer.
If there are answers, Polanco says he must find them because he believes there is something out there, a UFO under intelligent control.
What I always ask myself is how they could know the maneuvers I was going to make, and if the object knew what I was thinking. I had the impression that this object could foresee what I was thinking. This is an experience that has changed me for the rest of my life.
Jorge Polanco believes that there may be more repercussions from his employer and his friends as a result of this broadcast. But Polanco has told Sightings that he must continue to search for an answer to his UFO encounter, no matter what the cost.